Here, hold on. I'm going to go somewhere else. Hold on. Hold on.
Okay. Hey guys, this is Judy here, and we are about to do a quick training video for the team. uh, Excuse my voice. And we are, Andrea and I are mom and grandmapreneurs, so if you hear some babies in the background, it's okay. This is what we do to make our livelihood. But we wanted to come to you today to, I wanted to come because Andrea has some great ideas and things that she has learned in reference to selling more tea. And I said, "Oh, Andrea, it'd be so good if we could just give some of these tips to the team." And so some of the things that we're going to share, it seems very simple, but it's very, very powerful. And that's the great thing. You don't need like complicated stuff to do well in the business. Y'all heard of KISS, KISS, keep it simple, stupid. But no, we're not saying stupid. Keep it simple, sweetie, right? Keep it simple, superstar for that last S. But the real deal is that when we start doing some simple things consistently over time, you'll see a difference in your business and your volume and the amount of people that you can serve. So, Andrea, thank you so much for coming on today. And I hear that echo again, but we're just gonna work through that. So thank you for coming on to let me kind of interview you and and share these tips. So we'll go ahead and jump right into it because I know that what you're going to be talking about today and what we're going to be dialoguing about, your daughter has already started applying, right?
Yes.
She's already doing it. I've been on her Facebook page and looked at some of the things that you told me to look at. So I was impressed with that, and I definitely people may want to connect with her. But before we get to some of the new things people can do, I did want to just talk about your credentials because over the years you've made a lot of money retailing tea, haven't you?
Yes, I have. Yeah, I have. I actually, I they say six-figure earner. Within a year, but it was probably more. I want to say more, probably more about 18 months that I was able to do it in. The the bulk of it in the beginning was just straight selling, though. You know what I'm saying? Just myself. I didn't even understand the power of leverage at that time. So I was just sharing it, basically sharing it, and trying to think what is the word that I want to use. Kind of like sort of about what we're going to talk about this evening is that you're riding basically off of a wave. You can just keep it in there. You can keep it in there. You're riding off of a wave of somebody else. So the movement that's going on now, at the time when I was doing it, it was a movement was going on. It was everybody was excited about the detox tea, which is the tea that we have. We should be excited about because the old companies don't have it anymore. So you know that you're selling the real deal. But sort of riding off of that wave, I was able to go in different avenues online, on YouTube, on Instagram, just different places to be able to sell the tea. You know what I'm saying? And local market. I actually did a lot of offline stuff as well. So I just was like a retailing machine. Me and my brother were basically tag team, and sometimes we would run into each other at the post office. We got a post office in Louisville where we were selling that, and we actually called. Can you see that? T-ville. So that's what we call Louisville, T-ville. And we were tag teaming each other, with tea. We would be at the post office 2 and 3 times a day. That's how much tea we were selling. So, and then like I said, we rode off of a wave that was kind of already online. So people seeing information out there online, and people will go look to see what it is that you're selling, to see, you know what I'm saying? They looking for third-party validation. You may not provide that third-party validation, but they'll go searching online.
Awesome. Well, and excuse the technical difficulty because again, I hear some hear that echo there. So, ladies and gentlemen, you're hearing from Andrea Gaines, and she knows the tea business. So, like she said, she's a business builder now, but when she started, it was just about selling the tea. And I know a lot of you out there are focused on that, and that's fine, selling the tea, because you can make a whole lot of money just in retailing. And that's where we're going to be focusing on our conversation tonight. So, like Andrea, when I sell the tea, I just basically sell my website, or I may order some and just sell the packs of tea, right? So I just sell the tea typically in either a month supply or the buy two get one free or something like that. But there are more and more people who have gotten into selling the tea pre-made in gallons. Have you ever done that?
Yeah, that's actually what I did. I was selling gallons even back then. I didn't have all the fancy flavors that they have now, but so I made my money selling plain tea. So
I
yeah,
didn't know that.
yeah, I was selling gallons of tea. Yep.
Okay, but when you went to the mailbox, you weren't mailing the gallons.
No, remember I said I sold offline and online.
Okay.
Yeah. So I had my whole local market, you know, everybody, looked to me to come and get this tea. Nobody really knew about it. I was the only person really selling it in Louisville at that time, other than when my brother moved back home and I introduced him to it. So, yeah, we were selling gallons then too. Just didn't have flavors.
Okay. And we're going to talk about that because a lot of people say, what does she mean for flavors? What does she mean flavors? So we have, like, for example, Karen Wright on my team. She makes the gallons. She has lots of customers. They come and pick it up. Sometimes she delivers. And one question that people often get is, how much would you sell a gallon of tea for? And I know that it kind of maybe depends on your market, but how much do you sell a gallon of tea for where you are?
Right. Ours runs about 25 a gallon. And then people tack on, $5 if they have to deliver it to you. Sometimes, what you posting online, you got to kind of be careful about meeting up with people, like, meeting it, especially if it's somebody that you just meeting off of Facebook and they seeing you post and you really don't know that person personally. I highly suggest that you sell to people that you know. You know what I'm saying? Personally. But if you don't, make sure that you're doing that with, like in a populated place. You know what I'm saying? When you're going out and meeting individuals that you don't know. But they run about $25. I've seen them, some areas go all the way up to $35 a gallon.
Well, I certainly think the value for that is there. And typically when you're putting your own labor into it, and then like you said, your gas, I mean, I would add in that trip charge because the tea is, for what it does in our bodies, it's worth more than $35. So our point is here, guys, whatever the market would bear, you're in business, so you want to make sure that you're seeing a profit, of course. So whether you're selling for 25, 30, or 35, if that's, your market and your gas, it is certainly well worth it. And that is a gallon of tea, Dr. Miller's original detox holy tea, only by Lurralife, okay, made in the gallon jugs. But now, Andrea, some people have stepped out of the box. I know that there are some really savvy leaders in our industry with great ideas, and these great ideas are really helping people to sell even more tea. So I wanted you to come on and just share one of those simple ideas that has people having more fun with the tea and their customers enjoying the tea even more. So tell us a little bit about that idea.
Okay, so maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, I went to a training in Atlanta, and one of the leaders that are in that they're in Lurralife as well. I had noticed that they had a movement that they were doing called Drink to Shrink and Drink to Shred, and they had all of these, I won't say flamboyant, but they really look good. You know what I'm saying? They got like cherry and strawberry and blackberry. They just got all of these different flavors: pineapple, lemonade, or they got like a peach one. So they have all of these different flavors and stuff. And it's a lot of movement behind it. You know what I'm saying? People like those vibrant colors. Some of the guys that stood up and gave their testimonies at the event, they were talking about, they thought that the jugs were ugly. You know what I'm saying? That they didn't have labels on them and stuff like that. It didn't matter. It was the bright colors, because people, I mean, people like Kool-Aid and juice. You know what I'm saying? So if you are able to share something that catches a person's eye, it's about that presentation. You know what I'm saying? They're used to seeing tea. We've been selling tea in the gallons for 5 years. You know what I'm saying? So that's been around for a long time. So it's just giving a little twist to it by adding these different flavors. And I'll make sure that I'll send you the recipes if I haven't already sent them to you, where you can post them into the big group. But they are it's delicious. I haven't made any myself, but I've tried a couple of the ones that my daughters made, and they're good. They're good.
So let's
taste like they should be weight loss tea, but people are still going to the restroom off of it.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about these flavors, because people are saying, well, what kind of flavors are you talking about? Where are they getting the flavors from? So how are people flavoring the tea for their customers?
They're using real fruit, like pineapples and grapes and peaches. They're using real fruit. They're using, remember, I don't know, I say back in the day, but they used to have those frozen cans of orange juice, like the unsweetened kind. So those and lemonade, they're using those as well. So it's basically just putting that into a blender and blending them up. You steep your tea just like you normally do, and then you're blending up those flavors with it, and then using a funnel to put it back into the gallon jug. And and the colors are just vibrant. They are vibrant. So when I look at some of the recipes, I wouldn't even think that they would end up looking the way that they do, but they do come out those colors for real.
Well, I'm glad you said funnel. See, I need all the steps, and I'm like, how would you put it back in? Okay, a funnel.
Yeah, just throw a little funnel in the top of it, and then you can just pour it, from your blender or mixer or whatever you're using, pour it back into it with a funnel.
So what do you think it is about adding the fruit to the tea that helps to increase sales? Or is it something different, or is that it?
I think it's just the fact that it's different. It's fun looking. It looks like it tastes good. I know a lot of times, and I probably don't want to mention this, but but I'm gonna mention it anyway. Sometimes when I partake in some chips and cheese at Taco Bell, I'm like, is it happy hour? So I can get one of those cherry slushes that they have. So I think people just have it's you think about when you was a kid, when getting slushies and stuff like that. I think that's kind of what it is. And for a person to still have the ability to be able to lose weight and it tastes good, is a plus, So I think that's pretty much what it is. Just, kind of brings up things, people want to, I think they'll drink stuff that tastes good. You know what I'm saying? They'll drink it if it tastes good. Tea, the tea we know is good for you. After a while, once you start drinking the tea, it don't even, you just drink it. It's just good for you and you drink it. But some people get tired of the same taste and all of that stuff. So this flavor of blending them is a whole nother level. And my niece has actually begun to put they're blending up sea mouse, elderberry, and bladderwrack in it, and they charging like $40, $50. They're using the mason jars and selling them in 8 ounces and stuff. Yeah, they're taking it to a whole nother level.
The power of entrepreneurship. That's really interesting. So I'm sitting here thinking, people love novelty items. They like things that are new and fresh, and people love vibrant colors. And so if your customer has been drinking the regular tea for a while, maybe they haven't ordered, coming back and say, hey, we have flavors, and giving them options, because it's like, okay, now I didn't try the strawberry. Hey, next one, let me see. Yeah, I like pineapple too. Oh, let me try it that way. And If it were me, of course, if I got into flavoring, then you definitely need to add more cost to it, because then
Right.
because you got to put in the fruit that you got to buy, right?
Right. Depending on, I was trying to calculate that earlier. Like I said, I haven't made it myself, but I'm watching my daughter. Sometimes she'll call me on Facebook, and I'm looking at her putting the stuff in the basket, and she's like, "Look how much stuff I got in my basket, but I got 20 orders." You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, take your receipt and make sure you divide up the number of gallons that you're putting in, so you know what your cost is. You got to know what your return on your investment is too. So they're doing maybe about, it might end up costing about $10, you know what I'm saying, to make it, when you pay your $5 for the tea, and then $5 worth of extra stuff that goes into it. But they tacking that money onto the price of the gallons. Like my daughter, I think she had made a post maybe about a week or two ago, because when she wasn't factoring in that, and she was still selling the tea for 30, and she said last week for 30, next week the tea goes up to 35.
Smart,
Yeah, so they
smart.
definitely, sometimes they add alkaline water to it. You can get these gallons of alkaline water. I don't know which are best, but I've seen them as low as like 2.79 a jug. And if you use alkaline water, you can increase it even more. Increase the price. I know when I was doing it, oh God, 5 years ago, I used to make tea with 2 packs, so 4 tea bags, and I charged $40 a gallon. So that's a $30 profit. But I call it, it was double strength, because the people who claimed they wasn't using the restroom, okay, I got something for you.
I love it. So let's go back, because you just mentioned something. You just mentioned $5, and some people probably like, wait a minute, how do you get the tea for $5? Because not everybody knows about that and exactly how to do that. So a lot of people are, just purchasing the tea maybe a month at a time, but a person who's really out there selling wants to be able to get the tea for as little as they can, so they can make as much profit as they can. So what are some ways to get the tea for less than what it costs when you buy a month?
Okay, I'm gonna this is the way that I run it. Even if it's somebody that's, let's say somebody wanted to do the business, one of the first questions that I ask them, and this is on, not even on the retail, I'm gonna jump over on your build side. If an individual wanted to make a certain amount of money a month, and I talked to you about this before, but you had nonprofit, that's 1 pack of tea. 4 packs of tea was a sole proprietor. 12 packs of tea is a LLC, and 50 packs of tea would be a corporate mindset. Okay. So if the person told me they wanted to make, an extra $500 a month, that's $125 a week. Well, we know that they're not going to be able to make that with 4 packs or 1 pack of tea. So that automatically moves them up to the 12 pack. If they invest in a 12 pack of tea or a 50 pack of tea, because really and truthfully, depending on what the person wants to make per week, you kind of like have to gauge out, if are they going to be willing to sell the tea? Because you can also in different markets sell 1 pack of tea for $20, and you don't even have to bother with making the tea. You know what I'm saying? Some people not wanting to do that part of it. So the way that I explain it to people, if people will come in at a 79 or higher, like, do you want to just go ahead and have the bulk of it? Everybody may not have $500 to get started. So if they don't, and I know this is what they need to, they're wanting to make. I wish I had my cell phone with me right now, but if they know this is the amount of money that they want to make, and it's way over, they know they need more than 12 packs of tea, then you can tell them that they can go, they can become a corporation on the payment plan, which is 12 packs of tea a week. Okay. So after they actually join the business with the $79.95 pack, I would have them to then create a customer account underneath for themselves. And then they can then buy the tea every week. They can buy 12 packs of tea. And it's a really good thing to do, especially if you want to use that to kind of pace yourself with the number of individuals that you're going to reach out to about the opportunity. So now you actually have these packs of tea. I think people ought to carry them with them. You know what I'm saying? Because people want what they want when they want it, right? And they may not go to your website, but if you have that pack of tea right there in your purse, or in your glove compartment, whatever, that more than likely they'll buy it right then and there. So if the individual they buy the 12 pack when they first get started for the 79, then you're going to make your commission off of that, right? But then when they go back in, what that ends up doing is creating more volume, for the team on a whole. But it also allows that person to be able to get the tea so they're going to pay $89.95. Remember, it's $10 more for the customer, but they're going to get $30 back. So when you subtract that 30 from the 96 that they're going to end up paying, because it's about $6 for shipping, then it ends up being 66. And if you divide 12 packs of tea into 66, it's almost just like buying the $500 pack, but you buying it weekly. It almost comes out to the same thing. It's just 2 packs of tea different. You know what I'm saying? But if you don't have the money to put up right then and there at the beginning, that's the best way to me, for a person to be able to do it. You can do it on a payment plan, or you can do it, buying the 50 packs out, right? But whichever way you do it, it ends up making the tea about $5 a pack.
Awesome. Okay. I knew that for the 200 and for the 497 pack, because if you buy as a customer up under yourself, you get back $250. So
right. You want me to can I tell you how I stumbled upon that information?
How?
One time, when we first got the 50 packs, a few of my team members was like, you should call Dan and tell him that he should make a $300 pack, because some people don't have no $500. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, okay, well, let me write him and see what he says. And I ended up writing him, and he said they can basically just go back. I felt like an idiot, because I don't retail anymore. But if I would have been retailing, I probably would have figured that out on my own. But he was like, they can just go buy a customer pack. You know what I'm saying? And it makes it about $60-some. And I was like, Dan said, just go buy 12 packs underneath yourself. That's the answer.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, so we've talked about how to make sure you're getting the tea for as low as possible. We've talked about doing some fun stuff like adding in the fruit to color and flavor the tea. Oh, I think you told me too, like when you're done, I know you're going to share the recipes, but when the fruit is added, does your daughter always add the stevia?
Yes. She does. Yeah.
All right. So the natural sweetener, she adds that to that as
you only need about 5 packs is what she told me to for the whole gallon.
Okay.
So you can buy those in 50 packs, 100 packs of the boxes.
When you do that, is that something you need to make sure that you tell the customer?
Yeah, I would. Because they could add, you could even ask them, do they want it, a little bit sweeter, or do they just want it regular? Because sometimes, depending on what the season is, sometimes fruit may not, strawberries don't always taste sweet. So sometimes you can go buy a peach and it looks a certain way and you're feeling it and all that stuff, and then when you get it and you got it home and cleaned it, it don't taste as sweet as it looked like it did.
Gotcha. So we've got new colorful flavor tea, and then also another thing I see your daughter doing is making sure that she uses social media to show the sales. I think that's important. Show the customer. Talk a little bit about that part of it.
So that's something that what I did was had her to go look at other people's pages so she could see what it was because she couldn't mimic me, you know what I'm saying, doing it. I've been too sick to make it since I found out about it. But yeah, going and actually when the person gets it, usually they kind of excited about getting their tea anyway. So you kind of asking them, can I, take a picture with you with your tea? And so you saw her page. Most of the people are obliging, to do it. They're happy to do it. They holding their gallons and smiling and stuff. But that's sort of social proof. A lot of times people, we done been to events before where you kind of like, you add the chairs as they're needed to make it, you know what I'm saying? So everybody, people don't want to look like they're the only ones that's buying something. So if you're posting that online, it shows that more people are interested in it, and it's not just you that's interested in it. You kind of follow. A lot of people want to follow the crowd.
Well, I love what you said. That's social proof, and Karen Wright on our team does a great job of that. It seems like she takes pictures of all her customers. So you're seeing this, kudos to you, Karen. And a lot of people sharing her customers' pictures. But it's time to go get your own, guys. It's time to go get your own customers. And again, it doesn't matter how you do it. I probably will never make a gallon of tea for anybody else, but it doesn't mean that that's not profitable. Some people love that.
Right.
And so if that's you and you like it, do it. But as Andrea said, by all means, always keep tea on hand. People are impulse buyers, and you pull that tea out, they will slip you a 20 for this gallon right here. These are the gallons that I sell.
Right.
I sell my gallons.
Right.
Right.
Right. And Boomy, it's the fastest way. Retailing, everybody, may not want to do it, but it is the fastest way to me for one, exposures to people, because you never know if they're interested in making extra money either. You know what I'm saying? They may be interested in doing that, but it's also the fastest way to be able to get people into profit. Because we make 30% when we sign people up, and if we don't help them get there too, and then it makes it like you should have just kept them a customer. You know what I'm saying? So I like to think about having that inventory on hand. It is it's motivation for you to do it. Like now I've been getting back into buying 50 packs because I have a lot of people that kind of sit on the sideline. Sometimes sales is up and sometimes they're down. It's just like any other, store or business or whatever. People are looking for certain things at certain times. And like right now, it's a few months before summer's coming. So people's going to be looking for it again. Right, it can go down sometimes in the wintertime. People aren't really worried about it. They covered up and all that stuff. But having that tea on hand allows you to be able to expose and get your person into profit mode as quickly as possible. Because if you're just having them to recruit people, I mean, not that you don't want to be recruiting, but at least get them to be able to sell. You know what I'm saying? Like be able to say, you even when you're recruiting, you selling. You're still selling when you're recruiting. And then another thing that I picked up at that at the event that she had, I want to say event because she gave out trophies and all kind of stuff to her team members. It was really, I felt like I was at a corporate event.
Okay.
It was really, really nice. But she talked about having the right mindset and making sure that whatever your goals are, it kind of reminded me of The Secret. So making sure whatever your goals are, that you got on blinders in whatever it is. It could just be an extra $500 a month. But if that's what your goal is for right now, then you put your blinders on and that's what you shoot for. And you keep negativity away from you. And sometimes it can be even from family members that you get the negativity because they don't really understand what it is that you're doing and your time may be pulled away. But you never know. I was listening to, I listened to this sermon and it allowed me to be able to move towards quitting my job. After I listened to this sermon, it was called No More Job. And I think it's Jamal Bryant, that pastor. He's in Atlanta, I believe. But I listened to that and it moved me in the direction of walking away from my job. But I listened to another one recently where he kind of retold that sermon. And he said that sometimes our purposes, what God has for us, is going to come in the form of either it's going to be your passion or it's going to be your burden. And when she talked about having the blinders on, you know how you got professional basketball players and stuff, and they are, maybe they people look at people and they think they may be arrogant or stuck up or whatever, like you. Not that you are, but you about your business. You're always working your business. You're focused. You know what it is that you want to get and you go for it. You know what I'm saying? You people going state to state, but you have a divine goal that you have. You know what I'm saying? You know exactly what it is that you want. So we did a vision board party about a year ago. And I was shocked that I had so many people on the team that was like, I want to make $1 million and I want to make, 200,000. And I was just happy to get back to 6 figures. So I only had 100,000. But but I made a mistake and I put $86 on my cell phone, and it's been on there since last year. And last year I made about, just in this opportunity, I made about 62,000 with this opportunity. I have a couple other streams, but this one, 62,000. You know what's on my screensaver is $86. That's not the goal. That's the starting point.
Right.
To remind me that I was supposed to buy $86 worth of tea a week so I could talk to 12 people about my business. When I should have put the 100,000 on my screen. I should have put the goal on my screen so I would see the goal all the time. So I'm gonna end it with this, unless you got another question, is that in the Bible, I don't know, I may pronounce this wrong, Boomy. It's called Habakkuk. And it's chapter 2, verse 2. And he talks about making the vision plain. Making the vision plain. And the rest of it goes so plain that as the person runs by it, if they read it and reread it, they would understand it. So if you think about that in the terms of what it is that we do, that's like having a system in place. You know what I'm saying? That's sort of like having, if you write the vision, you make it clear, you make it plain, and then you'll be able to go execute it. You can be able to share that with other individuals. And think about if somebody's running past something and you show them something and they're running past it and they can understand it and they get that, it's clear.
It's clear.
It's clear for them. It is clear for them. And that's all she talked about in the beginning, maybe the first 3 hours. She talked about putting on your blinders like professional basketball players. It's not that they're arrogant or that, she talked about Colin Kaepernick. She talked about if Jay-Z didn't let anybody know that he was getting ready to buy into that NFL team because he would have had all that negative chatter going on. Sometimes we allow negative stuff to be able to block our visions and our goals or what it is and our purposes that God's got for us, So with this is a way for you to be able to get to whatever it is that you're trying to do. We ain't telling you to sell tea forever. You know what I'm saying? Right. But you got to be able to make enough money to who wants to do a business and not make anything? You know what I'm saying? So at least with this is a plan of action for people to be able to do. It may not be, this might not be what you do for the rest of your life, but it is a way for you to be able to make money to get to whatever that goal or whatever that purpose is. It may be to give more, to be able to have more time or whatever, not have to take on that second job. If a person can make an extra $1,000 or $500, maybe they don't have to take on that extra part-time job and be away from their kids. And sometimes we focus on trying to catch the big fish. And really and truthfully, when I talked about that 12 packs of tea, if you do that and you build that out, what I did when I was in the other company was I ended up with 25 people that I recruited 100, but 25 of them worked, and 5 of them bought $5,000 to $10,000 to $12,000 a tea a month. So it wasn't, you know what I'm saying? I built a team of retailers. We were all retailers, and they kind of looked at us like we was crazy back then, but because we wasn't builders. But you can build a team. You can still build your business. You can still build a residual income by, remember we talked about the Retail to the Stars? It's a video out online right now on YouTube. It's called Retail to the Stars. If we get to 2-star, if you get 5 people in yourself, you're at 2-star. And that's our level that we build on within our compensation plan to get us the 3-star, the 4-star, the 5-star. You know what I'm saying? So it's you can take those 12 packs of tea and build a team with those 12 packs of tea.
Awesome, guys. So whether you're looking to go for the big pack or the 12 pack, which is where most people feel comfortable there, it's affordable. And then to me, keeps you on point because your goal is to get rid of that each and every week. You don't need to let that 12 pack go into the next week. Right. And that's when you teach your team to do the same. That's volume. Sales, and people making money. Last question. if you know the answer to this, how important when you're posting? So let's say, so people are making the tea, they're naming it as various, colors. They're posting online and, making their posts look pretty and attractive. They're sharing their customers' success stories and having their customers' pictures posted out. When you make a post, how important are hashtags? Did you get any training on that?
They are using, like I said before, they're using the drink to shrink and drink to shred. I see probably drink to shrink more often, and that's the wave that I was talking about riding on. But my daughter, I told her to not name those flavored teas the same thing that they're naming theirs. Just because the colors come out, similar, go ahead and make them different. So she's got one, because she calls herself Rose. So she's got one that's called Pink Rose or something like that. And then she named one after her daughter, Strawberry Drees. That's the #1 seller. But it's the same thing that they're doing, but they're writing on the hashtag of the drink to shrink and the drink to shred, but then creating their own identity of like as if they had their own recipe for it.
So when you're making your posts and hashtags work because a lot of people are using it. Hashtag. So it's not just like you making up something and just you using it.
Right.
But either your whole team and all the chatter or the company or the organization, you get in on one of the popular hashtags.
Right. Okay. And that creates because that's where people are going and getting the social proof. They'll see a lot of people. If you go in and look at that hashtag. Matter of fact, there's a nugget. If you want to see what people's posting, go look for hashtag drink to shrink or drink to shred.
And that's the #2.
Yes. And go look at all the pictures and stuff of them, their customers and their pictures of the vibrant colors of the tea and all that stuff. Because even if you haven't made them yet, the recipes are simple. All you're doing is just blending the stuff up into a NutriBullet or regular blender. You just mixing it all up, using a funnel, putting it back in. But you can still use those images even if you haven't made your own yet. You could go grab those pictures. Because what I've noticed is people aren't branding their pictures.
Okay.
We used to do that. We used to put, this is my before and after picture. So you could, right now they're not doing it. So you could go, grab some gallon pictures off of their sites.
Gotcha. Okay. And have you seen anybody making videos of themselves making the tea?
No, and that's what I want to do when I get a little bit better. And all this stuff is over with. I have not seen anybody doing that. I've seen my niece do it for the stuff that she does with the sea mouse and the tea, but I haven't seen anybody do it with the even my daughter. She takes pictures and makes all her I'm really proud of her because she's kind of using these different mobile apps, and I'll find out exactly what she's using, but she's using these mobile apps to where she's making her post with the tea, the colored tea, but then she's putting borders around it, and then it's got like strawberry spinning and little kissy lips and stuff moving, and it's just animated. She's animating her images of the tea and putting, sometimes she puts it with music. Which is always like sites like how people use that what is it called, TikTok? You could put in tea and it'll bring up songs that's got tea in it.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Well, hopefully, ladies and gentlemen, we've given you some ideas or tips or nuggets to help you with having more fun in your tea business, making more money, becoming more profitable with your Lurralife tea business. Andrea, I thank you so much for being my sponsor and for sharing this information with the team. We appreciate you so much. Any last closing words?
No, just go make that tea.
Go make it and go sell it, right?
Go make you some money. That's what you do.
That's right. Mama makes it off of 35.
30, she sells it for 35.
Oh, the baby knows. Take it from her. Sell it for 35. All right. See you, everybody.
Bye-bye. All right. Bye-bye.